Blessings.
Blessings.
Blessings, Sister Tori.
Keep that fan home and put it on my bed.
I told you it was good. What's your email address?
Quiz Designs. Design62@gmail.com.
Blessings, blessings.
Quizdesign62@gmail.com.
Right?
Gmail.com.
I did it right?
Yes.
Hey, cousin. How are you? Blessings, blessings, blessings. To those of you whose name we can't see, and to those of you who we can, we say thank you for meeting us here again. We are truly grateful tonight to be in the land of the living. God has been gracious to us. Blessings, Prophetess Kristen.
Blessings to everyone.
If the enemy had had his way, last Thursday night would have been my last day here on earth. But God turned it, and we're grateful. And tonight, we're going to continue the conversation. We had to cut you short last week because my bestie had to go to the emergency room. We just flip-flopping. She messed her toe up last week. Thank God it wasn't broken or anything, and she's able to move around in it, and the enemy just playing flip-flop with us. He gave her a little scare with me, but God is faithful. So we're here tonight. We're not going to be long, but we did want to continue the conversation because it was going so well on last week. Everybody was interesting in their transparency and lessons, missionary Shanae. And we are grateful that you consider us. If you hear a lot of noise in the background, it's because the Spanish church on the opposite side of us has decided they're going to have a rehearsal. And every time we get loud, they go soft. Every time we go soft, they start going loud. So for the sake of remaining safe, we are going to limit how long we are here at the store today. But my bestie didn't get an opportunity to participate with us the way that I know that she normally would. She always has something good to say to us when we're talking about things. And so last week we were talking about, am I enough? Am I enough? And that conversation last night opened up so many doors in various people's lives, wherein we're grateful that they consider us worthy enough to come and share and to be honest and say, this is where I am and this is why I'm here and I'm struggling to get back and I don't know which steps to take. And sometimes there are those of you that are online with us each week and you want to participate, but you're concerned about what people are going to think. You're concerned about how people are going to view you. But I tell you that is not a reason not to be your best you. And one thing that I want you to remember from last week and this week and the weeks to come, the one person outside of God that needs to know that you're enough is you. You need to know that you're enough. When I looked it up, it said to be sufficient or to be what is needed, to be what is required. And all you need for you to be the best you is for you to show up. You are the requirement. You are the source that God deals with concerning you. And so, are you enough? I want to let you know, yes, you are. Even though you may not feel like it, we want to come on and tell you tonight that you really are. There's so many reasons why you should feel and believe that you are enough. And I'll keep saying from week to week, the fact that you survive, half the stuff that you survive, and you're still in your right mind, you're not in the institution, yeah, you might be on some meds or something, but hey, you're here. The fact of the matter is you made it past where you were. See, they couldn't handle the fact that we was quiet, so that you might hear them in the background, but we're going to continue on nevertheless. And so I want my bestie to start talking to you because, all of us have been there. I was there. I got through it. God blessed me to meet this wonderful woman. I was able to help her understand that she was enough, and now she has part of the job.
Is that my friend Shaton?
Yes,
Hi,
it is.
Shaton.
She has the shared responsibility now to help you understand that you are enough.
Um, it's so much I can say about feeling that I am enough. Um, it started with me, I guess, after my divorce. Because I felt like, why am I here? Wasn't I enough for him? Why did things go the way they went? Um, what could I've changed? What could I've done? It's always what I. Um, when you feel like you're not enough, you have to validate yourself and not look for validation from someone else. That's what I learned. Validating yourself will help you know that you are enough. Getting self confidence, talking to yourself every morning. Affirmations are so important, that we learn how to affirm ourselves when nobody else is looking. So I went and I looked. I had this actually last week, but like Apostle said, I hurt my foot, so I had to go to the emergency room. And one of the things that I liked about when I looked it up, validating, it says, whispering to yourself every day that I am enough, even when you don't feel it. Decide you're not going to listen to the lie that have been placed over your life from whomever and whatever that have told you you're not enough. Because most of the times we feel this way because something happened or somebody said it to us, and then we begin to play it in our mind, because actually it starts in the mind. Feeling like you're not enough starts in the mind, and it could come from triggers, things that happen to you, things that people done to you. So that was one of the things. And identifying what is making you feel that you're not good enough, and write the affirmation. It talked a lot about affirmations, believe it or not. um as we talked about, am I enough? Reminding yourself that you are enough. I am somebody. Good things happen to those that wait. Just different affirmations. And that's what helped me get through one of the worst times of my life, going through a divorce, being molested, being raped. All of these things will make you feel like you're not enough because a part of you has been taken away. Something that you didn't willingly give, it was taken, so it will cause you to feel like you're not enough.
And you have to be able to tell yourself, I am good enough. Like I said, when I looked up the definition of enough, it said sufficient, met the requirements. And you have to understand that the requirements that you need to meet, hey T, the requirements, hey Pastor Bass, the requirements that you need to meet are the ones of God and the ones of yourself first before you can be anything to anybody else. We keep on saying on here, in order for you to effectively love and be loved, you have to first understand how to love yourself. And understanding how to love yourself means that I have to take all of what's wrong with me and what's right with me. If I only want to deal with, hey, daughter, if I only want to deal with what's right with me, and I don't know how to handle what's wrong with me, what am I going to do when that shows up with the next person? I'm trying to Some of us wonder why we are not successful in our relationships or even in friendships. And it is because, for the most part, when you don't feel like you're good enough, you overcompensate. You tend to overdo things.
I was
You,
thinking about that too. Do you feel like a lot of times that that's why people cheat, or they look for something else because they feel like they're not enough for one person, so then they try to find it in multiple people, and you never become enough because you're constantly bouncing around from one person to the next, so you never get to find out really who you are for yourself.
I think that when it comes to that aspect, whether it be marital or whether it be in relationship, cheating has different angles. Some people cheat just because they know they can, believe it or not. It's like a ego thing, like showing that I can do this and have this too. I can have the best of both worlds. Some people cheat not realizing that what they're looking for in their mate is what was insufficient in them. So if they have the lack of ability to be faithful to anybody, you, if you go back and went through your school days and you went through your college years, for those who went to college, and found out that being loyal to somebody was always an issue to you, showing allegiance to somebody other than yourself was always an issue to you, then that issue that has never been conquered follows you into every other relationship you have in life. So therefore, you do something blaming it on the other when it's really an insufficiency inside of you that you never dealt with. You didn't want to accept the fact that you had a flaw. It was easier to believe that your partner had the flaw. It was easier to say, well, I did this because, rather than say, I got an issue with me, or I got some things that I haven't fully dealt with within myself. So cheating, people do it for all different kinds of reasons. Some even try to use the Bible to justify it. When we go back to the concubines, and the Lord, and for them, they felt like the Lord didn't have a problem with David and them having all these wives. People use all kinds of reasons for what they do wrong, but they don't want to use that same source when you want to prove why they're not right.
That's true.
So I think that most of us, if we were to tell the truth, um, a lot of what we find wrong in other people is due to the things that have already happened in our lives that have never been corrected. We never had a chance to deal with the hurt that was associated to what had been done to us. We never had a chance to deal with the abandonment that we felt happened with us. We never had a chance to deal with the neglect, the environment that we were brought in that made us feel like we would never be anything.
Right.
And so, because that environment encouraged us to believe that we would never be anything, it is easier for us to portray that same thing onto somebody else because that's my norm. I'm used to that. I'm not used to nobody saying it doesn't have to be this way. I'm not used to nobody saying you bigger than that, you better than that, you deserve more than that. I've heard everything but that.
That's true.
I was answering your
I
question.
agree.
Oh. So, for those of you who are here with us again on this week and want to continue the conversation, start putting your comments in. If you want to come on and be a guest and let someone ask you questions, let us know so we can invite you. Blessings, woman of God. We just want you to um, understand the importance of knowing that you are enough. Please stop allowing somebody to feel like you need to change so much about you in order to be the person that they desire. What happened to them changing themselves to become who you desire? It's never stated that this is what I'm willing to do for you, but I can tell you all of the things that I need you to do for me. Because when I picture my wife or when I picture my girl, I picture them being like this. I picture them being like that. I picture them wearing this kind of stuff. And they have all of these ideas of how they picture the person they're going to date. And so my question to them would be, then why'd you come to me? Because I wasn't doing
Right.
that.
Right.
Why'd you come trying to change me? Why'd you find what you said you was looking for? Why did you stop at my door? What was it about me other than the feeling that I had that I wasn't enough and that I was so glad that somebody was paying me attention. Because a lot of us do that because we are so glad that someone is showing us affection, or someone is showing us attention. Some of us are so excited about the fact that somebody saw me, those words, saw me, because for so long I felt invisible. For so long I was existing but not living.
That's how people start settling.
Yes,
too.
and so because of that, you are so glad that it is now being shown your way that you're just willing to do whatever it takes to keep it, not recognizing that trying to keep that is killing you. It's not helping you live, because you lose yourself even the more. You were already trying to find yourself, but now you're so busy trying to be what they want you to be that you forgot who you are. So now when somebody asks you, like we so often ask our young ladies, who are you? The first thing you be like, so and so's mother or so and so's wife. No, who are you? The person, the individual, before you became all of that to them. Who are you? And so a lot of us have to really just be willing to admit that we don't think enough of ourselves. And that's why we end up with who we end up with, for how long we end up with them, and stay. We don't even try to get out because it's just comfortable. At least I know what I got. What you say about knowing what you got? What do you say about staying in what's comfortable rather than what's right?
I did it for 20 years. Well, no, it was 13 years. On the 14th years when I got divorced, and I stayed because I was afraid. One, at that time I had small children, and nobody was going to love me and my children. At that time I had four, and I felt like, who's going to love me with four children? Who's going to want to be with me? But then I got tired, and so I had to make up in my mind that I really wanted to be happy and find out who I am, and not live my life in the shadow of somebody else. And that's what a lot of us do. We tend to stay and live our lives in the shadow of somebody else, and we never know what real happiness is, because we stay just because. Or I hear a lot of young people say, well, I'm only here for the children. Okay, but what about you? Because when your children are gone, you still need to be happy. So if you're staying with someone for your children, that's the wrong move. If you're staying with someone just because you feel like nobody else is gonna want you, either way around, you still gonna be miserable. So you might as well move, especially if it's not godly, or if it's not helping you feel better about who you are. It should enhance you, not pull you down.
So we told you guys before about, oh, the shirts behind me. It fell. Self-respect, self-worth, self-love. It was on the back of this chair.
It ain't here now.
So we talked to you. Lessons, woman of God, Kenya Johnson.
Blessings.
We want to help you understand. We keep on telling you about these things that we're promoting about self-love and self-care. This shirt says
Self-love, self-respect,
self-confidence,
self-worth, and self-confidence.
and so you have to have a lot of things within yourself before you can expect somebody else to respect that. And so a lot of us are expecting from others what we don't even give ourselves credit for. Like, Pastor Devet, there she is. What do you feel about yourself that you would allow somebody to constantly talk down to you? What do you feel about yourself that you would allow somebody to make you feel like your existence is not worth anything? They devalue everything that you do. Nothing is up to par. There's always more, that you can do. Now, granted, I always tell people never be so satisfied with where you are that you never have room to move. That's on a different perspective right now. Right now, I'm talking about the fact that no matter what you do for a particular individual, whether it be in friendship, relationship, or marriage, it just never seems to be enough. They have something to critique. You could get everything crisp and clean and just presentable, and they can find a spot It's like they can't even say how they felt about what you did. They can't even compliment you for what you did because they're already looking to find that spot so they can say, but you ain't get over there. And then you did all of that, and then your psyche tends to take a dip, because you took time to do what you felt was needed. You wanted them to see that you heard them and that you were trying to do what it is they asked you to do. And then after having done that, now they say, but that's not good enough. And then you walk away feeling some kind of way, and they don't even have enough sensitivity to say, my bad. I didn't say that to hurt your feelings, or I didn't mean it like that, or you know what? I should have told you what I liked first instead of going straight to the negative. They never find a way to come back. They never find a reason to have to say, forgive me, or I apologize, or, we were talking with somebody earlier, and it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. How you say things to me can either build me up or they can tear me down. And you have control of that. You have control of how you speak to me. And those people who um, are in situations, and you hear people talk about all the time. I don't know about y'all. I can only talk about our little arena, little circle. You hear people talking about how the boss, fired them up or pissed them off or did whatever it is that got them upset, and they would have said something, but they realized that they had to get that check. So if you can control it with the boss, why you can't control it with me?
Because you ain't giving them a check.
No, no, right. But that means that you're making a choice not to control it. Because if you can control it for somebody you ain't gotta lay down with, somebody that you ain't gotta go home to, then you can control it for me. You're deciding that you're going to unleash all of that onto me because I just got to take it because I'm your best friend, or because I'm your girlfriend or your man, or because I'm your husband or your wife. That is no reason to put the world on somebody just because. You see, Tiquan. Hey, Prophet. There's just no reason why you have to do that. You have to, and I'm glad to see some men on here tonight, because last week we were talking about the fact that so many times when you hear somebody saying, "Don't let nobody make you feel like you're not enough," we're always talking to the women, but there are some men who need to know that they are enough because they have a woman that talks down to them, or somebody that is never satisfied with what they did, or is always expecting them to jump over hurdles because the one they was with before that knew how to run around the field. So now I want you to run around the field and jump over the hurdle the next go around, and then you can prove to me that you might be enough. All of us have those people in our lives, male or female, and whether it be relational, whether it be work. To me, friendships are relational as well, whether it be marriage. You need to know that you're enough. When God thought about you and He walked through your life and He decided He was going to let you go through this and let you go through that, and let something this fall away and let this fall away, and take this person from you and take that person from you. Mind you, here I said He walked through your life and saw it all happening, and yet He still decided that you deserve to be born, because He knew you were going to be the one He could count on, not cursing Him and die. He knew that He could count on you to keep moving forward. He needed you to understand that you really are enough. If you weren't, you wouldn't have gotten through this far. This is what a lot of people don't give themselves credit for, making it thus far. Everybody's focusing on what's not happening, but nobody's focusing on the fact that I made it. Kicking and screaming, but I made it. Broke, but I made it. Lost a few people that I thought would be good friends, but I made it. I'm still here. They thought that leaving me was going to destroy me, but what it did was push me forward. because I'm enough. I'm enough for me.
You gotta believe it for yourself. You gotta believe that you're enough, because it doesn't matter how much somebody else tell you. Until you get that within yourself, you're never gonna feel like you're enough.
These are things that I don't mind telling anybody that I suffered with for years, just, being all right with me after everybody, after you finish pushing everybody. Did I say that part? After you finish pushing everybody, you don't used up your resources, pushing everybody else. You done borrowed from people who you might need in the future for somebody else. They gone and they done left you. You done gave of your means. You have incorporated them into your circle only for them to get where they want to go, and then they forget your name. They forgot your letter of the alphabet. They forgot you even existed. And now you're just left here to figure out who you are now that you're not doing all of that for them. That's a real place to be so used to. Oh, well, how you going to ask, you're going to call me up and say, let's go out to eat. But when we get there, I'm the one paying.
We talked about that on the porch today. Somebody asked me a question. If I'm saying to you, let's go out and eat, and then after I get there and the meal is done and everything is finished, and you say to me, where your part of the bill? I didn't say I wanted to come out. You asked me, could we go out to dinner? So that means you was paying for the bill. So I said to them, everybody don't think like that. So before you go, you ask them, is the bill on me or you? Because you asking me out. So what's...
And I don't think that should be a question because I ain't pick up the phone. You did. I answered it. And when you said,
let's go out
let's
and eat and
go,
make sure you got money though.
right, that's what you're supposed to say. I was thinking about going out to eat. You good? You got it? Because then give me a chance to say, no, I'm not in the place to do that tonight, maybe another time. But don't just say, let's go. Because if you say, let's go, I like, you got me. Because now my question is, how much you want to leave for tip? Because I don't have a problem with doing a tip because you said, let's go. And so, there are those people in your lives that are good to you is only as good as you are to them. And when it dries up, they go find the next victim. Am I enough? You better believe it. With all my little idiosyncrasies, with all of my stuff that's going on with me, I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm enough. You got to be able to um, feel like,
Blessings.
who's that? Hey, who was that? Mephibosheth that was dropped, right? And in the end, he got it right. They can't. They dropped the baby. They dropped the poor baby. And there are many of us that have been dropped. Let's just tell the truth. There are many of us that have been dropped, whether it be friendship, whether it be family, whether it be ministry. We've been dropped. And we work so hard at keeping that face. We don't want nobody to know how bad we feel about this. We good at keeping our head up, or we're not gonna let nobody know. We're gonna wait till we get home and then we bawling and tearing up our pillows and all of this stuff. But what happens when the drop was necessary? What happens when the drop was necessary?
You asking me?
Yeah. What happens when the drop was necessary? What happens when you come to the realization or when you come to the revelation that that drop was necessary? Okay, so all right,
Okay.
Let's can I use you and mom?
And who?
Mom,
Who's mom?
yours.
Oh yes.
So you felt like don't mind us, y'all. This is us all the time. So for
I thought she was talking about
years,
somebody else.
from the time that I've known you, you have desired a relationship with your mom. You have always wondered why you were the only child she seems to not want to be bothered with.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then I would tell you something happened. This ain't just her.
Right.
Something happened, and you just are a reminder of it. And you just, no matter what, you would push and you would try to make your way in there, and she would push back, like, not now, and you would hear about all of these things that were happening with your siblings and your mom. And you'd be like, well, I just want that. And when is that going to be me?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to Sunday when your brother told you that all of those years paid off, that God had that happen for a reason, that God waxed her cold for a reason. It took me back to Moses, how God told him to go tell Pharaoh to let the people go, but he also waxed the heart of Pharaoh before he got there so that Pharaoh wouldn't do it. So what happens when the drop was necessary?
Well,
Because you
first of all,
wouldn't
that
be
thing
who
was
you are right now, the powerful, accurate, passionate, yet sensitive prophet and woman of God that you are now, that midwife, that birthing mother. If that drop hadn't taken place,
okay. So from that aspect, I just needed um even though it hurt. It was painful. I didn't understand it. A lot of praying and fasting. And like my brother said Sunday, even up until the last year of her life, we became better and I understood a lot. But had I not went through that, I wouldn't be able to birth others. Even the name change that God has given me, I understood it more Sunday. Why? Because I'm like, all of this time we've been this, and now God is saying do that. And so I had to go through it for other women that are going down that path, that are hurting, that are have been abandoned, have been abused. Somebody asked me yesterday or last night, how do you deal with abandonment issues? And that was one of the things I was like, wow, because my mother, that's what she did. And so until I was able to heal from that, I couldn't move forward. And I really honestly believe, and I told my brother this yesterday, I felt like Sunday I was really healed from what was done to me of all of them years. So it took me to get to that point. So first I had to accept it, that I was really dropped. I didn't look at it like that. So I had to accept it, and it helped me.
but you and come to find out that I wasn't off in my, there was something devastating that happened to her, which got you, and that wasn't a choice she wanted to keep on living out.
Right.
For some reason, she thought that by ignoring it, it was going to go away. But in the end, it is what drew her. And so, you know, it's just to let you know you are enough. You are enough.
You're right. I wouldn't have. You and a lot of others that scary that's been connected these few days. Help us.
And so, just to understand that you're enough takes a lot of strength.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest
takes a
with you.
lot of strength. It takes a lot of what's the word I
Courage.
want? Yeah, courage and belief. That's the word. Belief. It takes a lot of belief because if we allow, and you saw that.
Apostle Hall. Pastor Hall.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, it it's imperative that at this day and time that anyone who is alive knows that they're enough. If nothing else happens, they are enough. You needed to know that you were enough, and God had to do it in a way where nobody else could get credit. And I'm gonna keep on saying that.
Isn't that the same thing as saying we draw the things that we go through?
And this is how we met. That was like crazy, the leap that we had in our spirits when we met one another, because we endured some of the same things. And it's just um, I had to be so sure that I was enough, that I was able to help you understand that you were enough.
Yeah, because when you met me, I was in a bad place.
And if God had not taken me down the road that He took me through before meeting you, I would not sufficiently be able to tell you that you are enough, because I wouldn't have gotten
bad,
it yet.
y'all. I showered in the dark. If I could tell my testimony, I showered in the dark. I didn't want to look at myself. I wouldn't get in the mirror. I thought that I was ugly. I would always keep so many clothes on. Apostle used to be like, if you don't take off some of this stuff, like when you have been scarred, these things follow you. And I thank God now that I understand my worth and my beauty. And I was telling the girls today on the porch, you don't have to wait for nobody to tell you that you're beautiful. You don't have to wait for nobody. If nobody ever say to you, you're beautiful or you're enough, you better know that thing for yourself. But it took me years to get there because of so much trauma that I had to endure in my life. But I thank God because now I can tell somebody else that you're enough. No matter how you feel, you're enough. But she had to midwife me to get me to this place now that I can midwife others to get them to understand and to see and to know that they are really enough and not just say it but mean it. Because I said it, we good for saying it, but did we really believe that we were enough? And that's how I ended up with the name Queen. Because right. Queen helped me to understand that no matter how mad I get, I can't let my crown fall. It can tilt. I gave her back my crown a lot of days, like, yeah, you can have this. But she did not let my crown tilt, and that is my job now for other young men and women that I come across, for them not to let their crown tilt.
Every day that I saw her, I told her she was beautiful. Every day that I saw her, I told her, God's going to give you what you need. Every day that I saw her, I told her her kids were going to be okay and that she was an awesome mother. Every day I found a different way to tell her that she was
affirmation back then.
Beautiful, yes, that she was beautiful and that she deserved happiness and she shouldn't have to beg for it. And then one day, the Lord led me to call her Queen, and that's what He told me to tell her, that her new name was going to be Queen, and she was going to be able to reign sitting down. She would not have to always stand up, but He was going to allow her to reign sitting down. And when she would act kind of crazy, like she forgot what I was saying, I was like, you better go pick that crown up.
I gave it back to her every week, y'all.
It's just that you have to have somebody who knows your worth and appreciates it and will not abuse it.
I think that's why I love so hard.
It would have been easy for me to take advantage of where she was because she was at a very vulnerable place. But I just believe that, and we continue to strive to live it, that hurt people, not all hurt people, hurt people. Some hurt people live their lives hoping not to hurt people the way that they've been hurt. And so that was my goal with her, showing her that even though I had been through some of the same things that she went through, I was not going to allow her to hurt the way people hurt me. I was going to show her that I could be a friend, whether she had something to offer or not. And you have to know that you're enough and that you deserve to be treated that way. You have to know, hey, Dom, you have to know that you're enough and you deserve to be loved on. You deserve to be appreciated.
So I think that's why I just had a light bulb moment. Anybody that's a part of my life that maybe I shouldn't say that means something because that could be kind of harsh. But anybody that's in my life, I always, if I've given you a nickname, that means you matter or you mean something. I should say it like that, because I don't just give everybody a nickname. I have those in my circle that I call, there's certain nickname, and that's because when I was in my low place, she gave me Queen. So everybody that Apostle gave me,
I gave you Precious first.
Precious was first,
and then God told me to name you Queen.
Yeah, she named me Precious first, and then she named me Queen, and that was the name we stuck with. Matter of fact, I gotta get my necklace fixed. I haven't worn my necklace in a minute. Um, and so anybody that's in my life and that's around me, I give them those nicknames because I can either sense that you need that pick me up, or you need something to let you know that you are somebody, you matter, no matter your weight, no matter your size, no matter your color. There's just certain things that I do to allow you to know. That was crazy that you said that, because now I understand. Your nickname is Betty Boo. Get yourself together. Get your whole life together.
Who are you talking to? Her or me? Because you got one for her. I call you something that I don't call nobody, but I mean,
she's bothering me. You Betty Boo. So get yourself together.
But you gotta. I prayed for her. I prayed for her. I sought God for her, meaning for a friend like her, because I was tired of being used. I was tired of being misunderstood. I was tired of being talked down to. I was tired of people assuming and not knowing about me. And I was tired of having to allow my children to be my world. What do I mean by that? Because they're going to forever be my world. But my children shouldn't have had to give up their night lives and their friends and their time out because mommy wanted somebody to be with. Because mommy wanted to go out and she didn't want to go by herself. So now we got to go with mommy.
I think that's cute.
So for a long time, for a long time, that is what I had. My children were my peace because I was doing so much for everybody else, and there was so little being returned, and I was being used for so many different things, spiritually, sexually, and naturally. And so my children were my peace, and I cried and sought God because I wanted to know if I was enough, if I was good enough for that kind of friend. Am I ever going to be good enough for somebody to love as hard as I love? Because if I love you, I love you. I don't know how to half do none of that kind of stuff. If it's about you, it's about you. And when it's not, I'm going to let you know. That's been me forever. I don't do phony love. Love is just what it is. And I really sought God. And so when we met, it was crazy. It was just crazy. We went to a women's conference. Pastor Kim Thomas will forever, it was because of her that we met. And I had always heard of her, but didn't know I was hearing of her ex-husband. Right, but when they said apostle, I'm thinking it was you, not your husband. And so when she walked in the room, and I was like, oh, I could tell you what she had on. She had on a long denim skirt. She had on a blue sweater shirt with a white, those schoolgirls clothes.
Yes, I was a schoolgirl, y'all.
She loved those kind of sweaters with the white shirt, and then it had the knitted vest. And she had her hair up in the bun like this, but it was in straight hair. And she had a bang that came down over her head. I'll never forget it. And when she walked in, it was me and my daughter. Sister Pastor Hayes. And I was like, oh, actually, you need to sit on it. And so after service, we were talking, and it's been like September 4th, 2009 to this day. I went from her, and she was afraid, and so she started bringing Jessica, because she didn't want to be left out there. And she wasn't sure still. And we just embraced Jessica. Jessica shouted for the first time in our church.
Yes, she did.
And it just became one knitted set of besties, and I thanked God because when we were talking and we found out that we had been through some of the same things, molestation and rape and having a child from that rape, and just the women's ministry and the women's ministry and the transitional home, and we had so many things. That's how I feel about my bestie. I was burned by friendship so much. Yeah, and so it's like, thank you, God. And so now she has a job to let others know the same thing, that they're enough and they deserve to have that kind of loyalty and allegiance.
Not everybody got it, though.
No. And so people wonder why they can't come between us, because there's a loyalty and there's an allegiance that people don't think about no more. My friendships go back in the day friendship. We don't just let people go just because.
Because I'm mad at you.
We don't do that, and we don't tell each other secrets just because and all that stuff. No, what you share with me stays with me, goes to the grave with me. And we pray about things that are not right together to be that strength for one another, because we can't trust anybody else with it. And so it's am I enough? Yes, I am, and I deserve it. And that's how you have to feel. I'm enough and I deserve what I'm asking for. I've been that for everybody else, and now I deserve it for me. It's payback time. This girl's ready to slap somebody. So yeah. So these last 2 weeks, I can't even. Sometimes we want to revisit things, and then there are some things that we can't let go. And loving the me I see was created from the child that had to learn to love herself. And there are so many things that we have to find out about ourselves that um, might cause us not to want to love us, or not to feel like we deserve to be loved because I got this flaw and this is what's wrong. And this, no, in order for you to love you, you have to be able to love and embrace all of you. And when you love and embrace all of you, there's nothing much anybody else can say or do that would make you feel less than. And when people find out that they can't do that with you, they'll find somebody else.
Yeah, they sure will.
They'll find somebody else. So we getting ready to go, y'all. I know it's early. This is the earliest ever. But y'all can see part of me. And I really shouldn't. And my bestie didn't fuss this time. And I'm grateful that she came on and allowed me to do this. And she's sitting here with me to make sure that I'm okay. But we will continue our conversation next week. I'm not sure about what. I don't know if we'll have a guest or not. But we will continue. I'm still waiting for my bestie to find her list of things that she wanted to talk about with you guys. We have started conquering them. I think we got down to like 3 of them. And so we want to always let you know that we are here to remind you that it's okay to love the you that you see unapologetically, flaws and all. This is you. She said you dope. I'm saying you it. It's all about you. It's all about you. You are enough. You are sufficient. You are necessary. You have the requirements to be all that you're supposed to be, all within yourself. It's a matter of how far you're willing to go to tap into it.
You know, we were supposed to talk about one of the things I remember. You attract what's in you.
Okay, so we can do that because it's still about being enough. So
you are unapologetically dope. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, girl. Yes,
we have a shirt that says that.
I do have a shirt that says unapologetically dope.
So listen, y'all. Before we get off,
we're gonna talk about next week.
Yeah, we can talk about that next week. Before we get off here, don't y'all all start running. Y'all listen to some of these announcements I have. Okay, one is our affirmation cup that tells us that we are enough. It tells us that we learn from our mistakes and that we're unique and that we believe in ourselves and we detach ourselves from things that we cannot control, and that I deserve to have what I want. I just said that. Good things take time. That's right. I know I know God has my back. I don't know about the universe, but I know God has my back.
Love you too,
I know has my
Shaton.
back.
Shaton, I'm still waiting to see you in church. Other than the funeral.
And then those of you who want to support us, we have the Loving in Me I See mugs, mugs. All right. And for those of you who haven't started journaling like we told you to, we have our Loving in Me I See journals. We have our Loving in Me I See journals. All right. And so I told her go ahead and get it. You also have your self shirt, your self-respect shirt. Okay, self-respect, self-worth, self-confidence, and self-love. All of these things we have for you at reasonable prices. But what I really want to ask you guys to do is meet me this weekend. Meet me this weekend. We are celebrating me
Friday
all month long.
Friday night at 8 we have Bishop Henderson.
And on Saturday, this is where I need you guys. Saturday, I'm having my first old school concert. My first.
I need some sopranos.
Old school concert, yes, because we found out the one soprano that was helping her is working. So we're having our first old school concert on Saturday. Old school, like "'Tis the Old Ship of Zion." Yeah, "Ride on King Jesus." Hallelujah, salvation and glory. Living, he loved me. Be grateful. Change. Did not tell you it would be all right. I got a river of life. All of those kind of take me back. I made a vow. We going all the way back. And this is on this Saturday at 6 o'clock. Come and join us. If you know a song that we ain't saying right now, come and join us and sing your song, and we'll join in and be the choir behind you. That's the way God gave it to me. Somebody might come up and take the mic and start singing, and the church is the choir. There might be some songs that the choir sing that you can help us from the audience, but we would love, love, love. I'm gonna need your help, guys. I might not be able to be where I want to be on Saturday vocally, and I need your help. We have a small little group that we call a choir that's been meeting. The last couple of rehearsals had to be canceled due to my emergency surgery. And so we want you to come and be a part of this Saturday at 6 o'clock. Um, we have a lot of musicians that say they're going to slide through. We pray that they keep their word. Um, and so we're looking forward to it. I believe Master Prophet Jerry is coming through with some songs. We're looking and hoping that some others will come through. Saturday, 6 o'clock, 525 Orange Street in the First Hopewell Baptist Church Sanctuary. 525 Orange Street in the First Hopewell Baptist Church Sanctuary. 6 o'clock on Saturday, the old school concert will be taking place. If you know some groups or some choirs and they're good for singing songs from back in the day, like Cloudy Day or, God Is, those things like that, tell them about it. Ask them to come be a part of this. I want to make it an annual thing, but we got to start somewhere. Meet me this Saturday, please, at 6 o'clock. I promise you'll be glad you came. We're going to go back in time and we're going to have some old school church. And before the night is over, we're going to look how far we've come. How about that? So join us. And then on Sunday
at 5 o'clock, we have Apostle Teresa Speaks. I need to put it in the chat that the time changed to 5. 5 o'clock, Apostle Teresa Speaks.
Celebrating 19 years as a leader. Yours truly is celebrating 19 years as a leader and over 35 years in ministry. Come and be a part of the celebration. You will be glad you came. So there's church all week. And I know sometimes people be looking for church. We're going to be there all weekend at 525. On Friday, we'll be on the side in the parish house. On Saturday, we'll be in the main sanctuary. And then on Sunday, we'll be back in the parish house. So meet us all weekend, 8 o'clock Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday, and 5 o'clock Sunday. You'll be glad you came. Thanks for those of you who did hang on. I see you stayed. Thank you for hanging on to see what these announcements were going to be. Hey, Shell. Hey, well, Shell. I don't even call you Shell. Hey, Ro. Um, Thank you, guys. And so we will see you next week. I've been on here longer than I should be. Continue to pray for us for our recovery. Continue to pray for my bestie as she cares for me. And we'll look forward to seeing you this weekend. Is there anything else? We love you. See you soon.